Thank you for listening to the Content Magazine podcast, conversations with Silicon Valley's creatives. I'm Daniel Garcia, your host and the cultivator of Content Magazine, published by SV Creates.
Hello, welcome to the Content Magazine podcast, and we are here in our sofa studio today with Shannon Mirabelli-Lopez, who is the Dean of the Cilker School of Art and Design at West Valley College. And you actually have a pretty vast, a portfolio of your job careers. You were at Pratt.
Yes.
You were at the Met.
I was.
You were actually at Parsons.
Yes.
And you do adjuncts like professor speaking, lecturing
Yeah.
at the Academy of Art.
Yeah.
And NYU as well.
Yeah, back in the day.
So you've kind of you have a great pedigree of careers and experience. And now you're at West Valley.
Yes.
So I want to ask first.
Yeah.
When you look at it, like especially for me being a San Josean, right? I look at San Jose.
Yeah.
And then I think of like New York.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to be in New York. I think I would.
Yeah.
So what made you want to leave kind of like Met, NYU, Pratt, Parsons, and then come to the South Bay?
Well, it was all, kind of like every step was for a particular reason. Mm-hmm. Some of them professional, some of them like personal.
Yeah.
Right? So I grew up in California. I went to graduate school at NYU.
Oh.
I went undergrad at UC Berkeley, and then went to graduate school at NYU. I went there because at the time they were the only place that had a graduate degree in basically fashion history. It's like a visual culture fashion history program there, which back in the day was the only one of its kind. Now there's a few more, right? You have more choices. But
totally.
And I had actually lived in New York before, so I always kind of knew I had wanted to go back there. And the Costume Institute obviously was sort of like the pinnacle of that kind of work. There's a great museum at Fashion Institute of Technology too. So I did graduate school there, got a couple cool internships, and ended up with a really junior position at the Costume Institute, worked my way up. And then after about 12 years, it honestly was one of clearly the most formative experiences of my life. I learned a lot. My best friend is a curator in charge there. I'm very close to all the people there. Half of them I hired, and they're still there.
Yeah.
But after about 12 years, there's a couple things going on. One, I had just had a baby, and that job is not for the faint of heart.
Oh, okay.
It's very hard to have a life. And one of the things I did try to do while I was there was restructure it so that people could have lives and family there. Yeah. So now I'm proud to say a lot of the women that I hired there have had kids and been able to come back. Yeah. But when I was there, I was the first one who left and had a kid and came back.
Oh, okay.
It has just had not been structured for that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's kind of in all of the American culture, the corporate culture, or whatever. It was kind of like that.
Yeah. It was just tough. Yeah. So, so there was that, but there was also not for nothing, the Met is sort of a rarefied place. It's very elitist, to be honest. And I just was getting, that's not really where I come from. It's not really what I aspire to. And so it just became a little incongruent with how I felt about myself and my future.
You kind of consider yourself an outsider, right, in the academic.
Well, I totally was. Yeah, I was when I got there, for sure. Yeah. I had to do a lot of proving myself.
Yeah. Because you grew up with a single
mom.
Yeah, and then you had to work as you were going to school,
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah. I worked.
Just fun kid.
Oh God, no. If only. I worked full time through all of my degrees, undergraduate, graduate, 2 graduate degrees. So I was always working and plugging away at my degrees. So I spent 20 years in school, which is also exhausting, and was also I was doing while I was at the Met. But so anyways, it just got to a point where I was kind of wanting to experience something else, and the crux of it is really that I was kind of tired of looking back at fashion and really wanted to look forward, right? And impact the industry from a sustainability place, from a diversity place, and just also from a creative space. It was art and fashion education at the time was a little bit weird, and it seemed like it was not producing the same kind of creativity that we had been. And I just was interested, like, you know, we're collecting and displaying this work, like, how are these people educated? Like, what is their background? Are they exposed to history? Like, stuff like that. So I kind of made a lateral move to Pratt as assistant chair of fashion, which was great. I spent like a year or two in that position and then was promoted to assistant dean of design because they were like restructuring there and the art and design school were splitting. That was amazing. Like, I learned so much. And like, you know, long story short, I got an opportunity to work at Parsons, which I think when you're in that New York kind of like environment, it's hard to turn down, right? Because not just like it's Parsons, but also just like I was kind of, my undergrad is in anthropology. So I was sort of like, in a weird anthropological way, just like interested in like, well, now I know how they do it at Pratt. Like, how do they do it at Parsons? What's the...
Like a study of...
I just was like, well, let me go like do some like participant observer, jazz like over there. And so that was, that was interesting. I mean, like, that's like for a whole nother podcast, like that whole thing. But that was like a 3-year contract as director of cultural affairs and like external partnerships, which was super interesting. And then at that time, it was like, there was sort of like a pull to bring my husband at the time back to California for some family reasons. And my contract was coming to an end. And he is in tech and wanted to look for different work. And so I was just like, listen, like, and he wanted to be closer to nature. I'm like, yeah, well, it sounds like where I live.
And you grew up out here too, right?
Yeah, I was born in Chicago, but I grew up in Berkeley and Oakland. And so I was just like, that sounds like Northern California. Like, if you want to be near nature and work in tech, like, okay, like, let's go. So anyway, so we moved back, and then COVID happened. So we weren't really sure how long we were going to stay, or we were just going to kind of explore it. And then
so was your contract done with?
Yes,
with
we left
Parsons?
like right after Parsons.
Okay, so you were done, and you came out with no
real plan, which is not actually my vibe. Like, I don't usually do that, but he had a job lined up, and I was like, okay, like, and I had colleagues out here. My friend Simon Unglis worked at Academy of Art, and I just thought, I know I could teach and whatever.
And you had always been very much a starter maker your entire life, right? From music industry, starting a record label.
Yeah, exactly.
Prawn song
records.
Right? With Primus?
Yeah, with my friends in Primus. Yeah,
right. So I mean, it's not like you don't know how to make things happen.
No, exactly. So I wasn't that worried about it. I mean, it was a big risk. I'm not usually like that, honestly. Like, coming from nothing, you don't easily take those risks. But. So we moved out here, and then COVID happened, and it kind of was like, oh, I guess, like, let's, like, dig in. Like, New York's not a place to go back to in the middle of COVID. So then I was teaching online at Academy of Art, and then I just was like, oh, I guess I'm looking for work. And the key part, sorry to make this, like, long, but, like, the key part was that what COVID did for me was it enabled me to really think about what was going to be my next step. Right? And like, what did I want? What was motivating me, like, in this like second half of my career? And I realized, well, the things that I did not like about Parsons and Pratt was that they were super expensive. And I felt like they were exclusive by design, they gatekeeped, all kinds of things. As much as they are amazing creative places in a lot of ways, and a lot of amazing people work there, like, the impact on the industry was minimal because of who had access to that type of education. And so literally in my mind, I don't know, I do believe in like manifesting. I was just thinking, like, I would love it if there was like a place like FIT out here that was like very world-class art and design education, but at like a state level institution.
More accessible.
100%, So, and so then this position came open at West Valley.
That's crazy.
And, and it was a good fit, and the faculty liked me, and the leadership liked me, and so I got on board, and like, I'm by no means comparing us to FIT, but it was like the promise of something being able to do something really impactful for like affordable art and design education.
Because they have the vision, they kind of have some backing, they have facilities
now. The facilities are amazing. Right? Yeah, they have. I mean, I took a tour. I was like, the facilities are amazing.
It's like working at a resort every day, right? Going up into Saratoga.
Low key, yeah. And the chancellor was really behind this idea of art and design school. He sees it as like a magnet for the rest of the college, which is normally how art and design schools work, right? They really draw people in. And so I thought, and honestly, I hadn't been a dean before. I'd been an assistant dean. So I was like, okay, they're willing to take a chance on me. That's like, not as likely to happen in New York. Cool. And so, so I ended up there. Now it's 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. Now I've been there 5 years.
That's like fast.
It is. It goes fast. It
So,
goes fast.
So what do you, when we were talking just about like the gatekeeping of institutions and stuff like that, I kind of just, I mean, I don't even know what question because I haven't thought about this, but just in the sense of, do you feel like even like Parsons and some of those schools, because you have to be in a certain, you have to have a certain amount of funds or whatever in order to get, and connections, right, really to get in that. What do you think what is the impact of that on creativity and the art?
Well, it's twofold. Like it's twofold because either you already have the funds, which means you can graduate from there, you didn't pay for it, you're not in debt, you maybe have the money to launch your own brand already, and you're just not reliant on any external forces, right? So a lot of people at Parsons, if they're in that class of people, they come to get the brand name education, and it is a high quality education.
Yeah, totally.
And use it kind of as a launch pad through the industry connections and stuff that you get when you go there for usually launching their own line. Or a lot of the international students come there to do their 4 years in the US and then like go home to China and work for their own family stuff or start something there. But the opposite of that is that then you have a lot of kids who don't come from money who want access to that and get $250,000 in debt doing it. And you cannot be a creative person in New York City starting out the gate
and to start
with that
a
much
business
debt.
Or
You're already in that much debt. You're not starting a business. You can't get an entry-level job because you can't pay the loan on that. And so it's just like a problem.
Do you think then that is flavoring or even styling what type of art is being expressed then because of not only just because of that economic kind of like divide? Do you think that kind of keeps like the art, and then therefore it's a self-perpetuating 100%. Type of system?
Yeah, exactly. It just feeds itself. It's like it's just a self-fulfilling, thing. And I think
there's a lot of academia is making a lot of conscious efforts to have other voices.
It is 100%, but you can't do that when it's going to cost somebody $500,000 to go to your school.
Totally,
do you know what I mean? Like those people are then self-selecting. Right?
But it must be a way if there's like, some young artist who is incredible, right? And somebody finds them somehow, they would make access for them to be able to be a part of the Parsons or whatever school.
No, usually those people take a year at Parsons and learn how to sew and leave.
Oh yeah.
Sure. And start their own business. If you're like that, and there's lots of stories from Parsons who've done that.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. And most of the names that you know are people who either never went to school. Or did a year literally at Parsons and left.
Got a little bit of information and said like, why am I paying all this money?
Or they had a lot of ideas and they just needed to know how to sew or make a pattern and they were just like, okay, I'm good and like I'm out. And then, and so I think people have like figured out ways around it for sure. But it's just not a good system when it's not set up to really help people who are creative and not there's a lot of really creative people who are not good at navigating those systems.
Yeah,
Not
totally.
for nothing, like this is something we talk
Yeah.
about, right? Like there's lots of people with learning disabilities,
Yeah.
ADHD, there's
Yeah.
high levels of autism in creative,
Yeah.
creative industries
Yeah.
and stuff. And so those people are not supported and often left out only because they don't know how to navigate the systems,
Yeah, totally.
Low socioeconomic people who
Yeah.
haven't, like Parsons and Pratt and stuff, those require portfolios to
Yeah.
get into, right?
Yeah.
If you don't come from a high school or a family that has encouraged you
Yeah.
to have an artistic,
Yeah.
endeavor.
It would be overwhelming. You see the application,
Yeah.
you see what's required.
Like what kind of
and you're
portfolio
like,
are you making? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you came out of some high school that didn't even have an art program
Yeah.
maybe, but you've been drawing by yourself, but like then you realize like your portfolio is not gonna like cut it to get in there.
Yeah.
So, and that's not always the case. There are public
Totally. Yeah.
fashion schools, there's Kent State, there's all kinds of places. There are. And FIT of course, but because FIT is affordable and it's New York, it's actually pretty competitive to get into FIT.
Yeah.
I mean, they prioritize New York State kids as they should, but it's still pretty competitive because it's really, like.
So then that's somewhat of your mission as being the
Yes,
dean at
yeah.
the Cilker School.
Yeah.
Trying to bring it back around.
Yeah, come on, let's go.
No. So, right, because you considered yourself somewhat, you've called yourself, I've seen in different, I think, kind of like the outsider to, well, like in a lot of different ways, I guess your life you felt kind of like an outsider, would you say? I mean, you kind of came through punkish or rock hard metal, the music industry. Fashion.
I mean,
what were you like in high school? Like, what was your?
Well, I was a punk rocker. It was the '80s.
What was your favorite band back in those days?
Oh God, back in those days, probably Bad Brains.
Bad Brains. Okay, I don't know that many.
Yeah, probably Bad Brains. Let me think. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever go to, like down in LA? Like what was it? Mama, the Madame Wu's or whatever. Like the two Chinese restaurants down in LA.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I didn't go down to LA a lot.
Yeah, just up here.
Yeah, for shows before I went in the music industry. When I started working in the music industry, then we would obviously go to play down there all the time. But
like, did you help do booking, or you were actually doing stuff for videos as well? Like,
yeah, I started. Let's see. Let me think.
you have a very
I know.
It's cool. It's cool. No, it's awesome.
It's complicated.
No, it
but
fits for you now to be over the
It
department.
does. Well, it does because West Valley has performing arts.
Yeah.
They have art. They have design, fashion. So I think one thing the faculty liked about me when I came is that they all felt like I had some kind of like intrinsic connection to what they do. I was a dancer. Like the first time I moved to New York after high school was because I was on scholarship at the Alvin Ailey School.
Oh, okay.
So I had been a dancer.
Yeah.
And so it was just, so I think we connected on a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But like basically I started in the music industry just because my friends in high school, well, they were out of high school. I was in high school, so I don't know. That's probably a whole nother conversation. But I met the Primus guys through another friend who was the brother of my
Richmond or something like that.
They're from Elsa Branny.
Elsa Branny. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Pinole, stuff like places I had never heard of before I met them. So I met them. They were just coming up. They were playing, and they recorded their own first record. And I don't know. We were just like a group of friends, and decided that they had a manager who was local, and we decided they were going to put out their own record. We did our own P&D deal, which is like print and distribution, and then I was basically in charge of local distribution and marketing, radio play and stuff. I mean, this was back when you had to like go bring records to the radio station.
Yeah. Did you have to go into Tower Records?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like I mean, it's wild to think about that stuff. But
it's kind of fun. Like those were kind of fun days in a way.
They were kind of fun because like
that analog, have to be present, have to be.
Well, and everything was a little slower pace, right? Like you weren't like waiting for an email to like do the next email. Like you were like were like waiting for a phone call to be like, come down, drop the records off, we'll talk about it, blah blah blah.
Or you could actually go and knock on a door and leave 100%. Some stuff. Now you can't even see an address to some of these companies. And then I just worked for their manager after that, who also, did booking.
And then I moved into tour management. And then there's a guy named Mark Core who was doing their videos at the time, who one day just came to me and was like, I like the way you dress. You always look like cool. Because every time I would go to New York, I would like raid the like $5 bins at Betsy Johnson and stuff. So like, I think I was the only person that they knew who like cared about fashion really, or So
Betsy Johnson, that's still around?
It's still around. I mean, it's
but
it's
that
different.
Was like, that was the thing.
That's a flashback. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I remember when I was doing photography in San Francisco, we always wanted to shoot like Betsy Johnson clothes, and there was like a couple of small boutiques that carried like different. Yeah,
a couple things. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was good stuff back then.
Yeah,
it was good stuff.
Awesome.
So he wrote me into doing styling and costume for Primus videos.
Yeah.
And then I ended up doing it for other bands, because it's like any industry. You just learn people. I did some stuff for Green Day. I did some stuff for INXS.
Yeah.
So, and then,
So, okay, what I'm kind of seeing in your story, I mean, your path kind of like, is kind of different industries and great experience and stuff like that. And but it's the connections that you were able to make, and then you had, I'm just trying to think, like, if you were to give advice to young creatives and take it from your own experience, like, what have you learned from that, and what would you want to transfer? Because it definitely seems like you were like,
I think what I tell students who come and talk to me about it, I tell them, like, number one, like, don't be afraid not to go in a straight line. Because I think a lot of kids these days feel like you got to know what you're doing, and like there's this step and that step and this step, and if you don't do that, you're effed and blah blah blah. And like it's just not the case. It's never been the case, and it's not ever gonna be the case.
I mean, there are some people
who know that and they just do that, but like it's okay to like change your mind or make a
or follow this.
Or explore things, and also like just because you may know what you think you like to do, and then you're in it for a little while and you're like, or this thing over here is like more interesting. So like, it's okay for it not to be a straight line, And I think the other thing I always tell people is to just be bold. Yeah. And even like if you don't have a lot of confidence, like
fake it.
Just
fake it till you make it.
Fake it, because one of the things that I was gonna say, which is like just illustrative of this in my story, is just that like the reason I went to school to study art history, anthropology, and then eventually fashion history is because in the videos they started wanting historic references, and then I was like, oh, now I got to go to the library and do some research. And then I got really nerdy about fashion history, and then I discovered that like there are people who do that for a living, and then I'm like, okay, this sounds good. I mean, you don't know at the time that it's like 3 people, but like, so and then I moved to New York for graduate school, and I had some friends of family who worked in the art world there, David Zwerner and stuff like that. And one of them had found out, like completely on the down low, that the Guggenheim was going to do a show on Giorgio Armani. Nobody knew about it. It was supposed to be like secret information for some reason. I don't know. I mean, like, why is it secret? I don't know. But so I found that out, and I was like, I want to intern on that, because I had not, I was like, I want some experience. I want to intern on that. I had actually did a summer internship in the costume department of the Smithsonian before that. So I was bringing a little bit of experience, but not that much. So literally, this is going to sound crazy and like really age me, but I didn't know anybody at the Guggenheim. I didn't know who was working on the show. I didn't know anything. Yeah. So I literally cold faxed the Guggenheim.
Faxed. Cold faxed. Not phone call, but cold. And what did you fax them?
A note and my resume for what it was at that point. And I was just like, I know you're doing a Guggenheim show. Oh, yeah. Who's the curator? I want to work on it. And and I got a call, and they were like, I don't know how you found out about this show, but good on you. Yeah. And like, come on down. Yeah. So it was like cool. Like and that's what I mean by be bold. Just like, what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to say no. or they're not going to respond, and then you're like, okay, well, whatever.
There's so many stories like that. I know I saw, I think it was Aubrey Plaza or something like that, right? And she like weaseled in to be a page for NBC, and then just started to. I mean, like, and there's so many stories where people just like showed up, and who was it? Oh, the lady that I don't listen to. My wife told me the story. The girl, one of the ladies from The Office, the one that played the real stuffy girl. I can't remember what her name was.
I know you're talking about, but I can't remember either. The blonde.
Angela,
yeah, the blonde.
So she actually, to get into the industry, she called up a place and said, "Oh yeah, I have an appointment." Looked who to see whoever the person was, and said, "Oh, I have an appointment with." I don't see it on the calendar. He's like, "What? No, they can't." You know what I mean? And then
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then so she got an appointment, and the person was like, "Who are you? What are you?" Do you know what I mean? And then it didn't turn into anything. She left. And then, but something happened the next day. They're like, "Who was that girl that was here?"
Like she was kind of interesting,
right? Yeah. So it's definitely
And then the other thing I also tell people is like, do not be afraid to take the shitty job at the place you want to be.
Yeah.
You know, like just take the internship, take the volunteer role, take the junior job in another department, whatever.
You're not going to be the CEO when you're 18 years old.
No, exactly, and. Just get in there. Once you're in there, it's always easier to move around.
Yeah. How'd you get some of those internships? Same type of thing, was it?
Yeah, I mean, this is well,
because that's important, especially just before like Cilker and West Valley internships and stuff. Yeah.
Yes,
so
they're huge. So like when I was an undergraduate at Berkeley, I did there's an organization in the country called Costume Society of America. Oh. They have paid internships.
Oh, cool.
And you have to find your placement, but then they pay you for the for the time. So I did a internship at the Oakland Museum of California, which my dad had worked at like years and years before that. Yeah. But they have I knew that they had a fashion collection. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people know that they do. So that was great because it was local. And then I applied for a minority internship scholarship at the Smithsonian in their fashion collection that's in the History Museum there. Spent a summer in DC doing that.
Yeah.
And then went to New York and like talked them into giving me an internship at the Guggenheim, you know. And then the thing that's funny about that is that Harold Coda was curating that exhibition, like guest curating it. The people that hired me were the like Guggenheim curators.
Oh yeah, sure.
But Harold Coda the next year got the job as curator in charge of the Costume Institute, which is where I ended up. Okay. I wasn't hired by him. I was hired by the interim who was before him. But like, you know, so it was just kind of like
the connections.
Yeah, I was just like, I was in that world, you know, and totally. I learned a lot.
Which kind of comes back to our other point too, where you talk about if you have access and money and, you know, you do. Like a friend of mine told me, he's like, you just need to get your nose in the tent, is what he was saying, right? Yeah. And then you start to realize that a lot of the stuff that's going on, for the most part, isn't necessarily that people are evil and trying to exclude people. They just don't. They're just not top of mind. So if you can get in,
they don't think about it. They don't think about it, which is, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it is problematic. They don't think about it.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I mean, when I got that job, and after, you know, within my first year of working for Harold Coda, who was the curator in charge of the Costume Institute, who had also come from modest beginnings.
Sure. Yeah.
His advice to me. To make it, besides to get my graduate degree, was to marry rich, which I did not take his advice.
Do you regret that now?
Not really, but that was his advice, which is ridiculous. Because the pay at the Met was insanely low for.
Well, was it probably a little tongue in cheek? I imagine.
I don't think so.
Oh, right, because just like around here, we talk about it all the time. It's like, normally you have like, especially in the South Bay, you have one person who's kind of in the arts and the other person that's in tech.
Right.
Right, and it's like, that's the situation that works.
Yeah, best, I mean, you know, I think it was because, you know, you have to be presenting a certain kind of lifestyle to make it very far at a place like the Met, and and there's no really way to do that unless you're like a trust fund kid, because the salaries are like laughably low. Yeah. Still.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us
pivot.
That brings us to Cilker. 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, but no, I mean, before we get there. So hold on, people. in that experience that you had for
Yeah.
all that, who is someone that you met that really made an impact on your life? From the fashion, from the music, from all that school.
Yeah, I mean, most of the music industry people just taught me who I do not want to be, and what friends really look like.
Yeah,
That's for another podcast. But I just really I learned a lot about what I'm willing to put up with from people and what respect I, as a woman, you just need to demand in certain industries, right? So that's not that I took my own lessons from that going on. I think I put up with a lot of shit at the Met I shouldn't have put up with, but it was what it was.
Yeah.
But so I think, honestly, I've had a lot of very influential people impact me, but I think that the most important person in my life is really Andrew Bolton, who's the current curator in charge at the Met. He was the assistant curator to Harold when he came in 2 years after I got there, and he had spent a lot of time at Victoria and Albert. So he was the second in charge. He curated, began to curate at least 50% of their shows and stuff. And I think he just helped me really realize what I bring to the table, right? So I was basically his right hand. So not just administratively in terms of all the pieces of puzzles that go into actually executing an exhibition, not just research, but managing the loans, managing the publication, image research, all that stuff. But he relied on me a lot for just making everything go.
Yeah.
But also, he trusted me creatively and used me as a sounding board. And it was sort of it was a really amazing, working, collaborative, creative environment. And he trusted me so much. And so it made me, it felt I just felt oh, okay, this is what I'm good at.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You found
I'm a creative collaborator, but I'm also really good at enabling creative people, which is I feel what I do as a dean, right?
Yeah.
I'm good at creating environments for creative people to do what they do best and not worry about the details.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think just through that process of working with them for those 12 years, it helped me realize, what I was good at, to respect my own value and what I'm bringing to the table. And also, it really made me understand curation as a creative practice more than anything.
Yeah.
Academic practice also, but really there's a huge creative component to it that I don't think people always understand.
Yeah.
And so I treat curators the same way I treat artists.
Yeah.
And it's a nice segue. We're launching a curatorial studies program at West Valley.
Oh, really?
A certificate, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So,
really
and it's something I wanted to do literally since day one. So there's a couple things that when I got there and assessed the curriculum, I was oh, this would be interesting, or this is really necessary component to an art and design school, or
Totally.
this would be really cool and unique. So curatorial studies certificate is one thing that I've kind of wanted to do from the beginning, but there are a lot of other
there's a
things
lot
to
of
do
people
first.
who want to be involved in the arts or have an interest in the arts and even history and culture, right? Who maybe don't have a traditional art practice, who
100%.
go into curatorial studies and museumology,
100%.
all that kind of stuff, and
100%.
And they're so crucial to the art world.
Absolutely, they're they're the link to the public.
They are
understanding.
They kind of can be the gatekeepers in a way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So okay, so 5 years now
Yeah.
at Cilker.
Yes.
Okay, what would you say was the biggest shock for you coming first to Cilker? Without, no names. No, but what was the biggest change? Having music industry, fashion industry, curatorial, education, and then West Valley up on the beautiful hill. What was the surprise to you?
Yeah, honestly, the surprise to me was just that there was just this crazy diamond in the middle of what felt like to me nowhere.
Yeah.
and with so much potential, like it just seemed like this amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
That I was just like, to me, I guess it was just like a little mind blowing. It's like, what is this even doing here? Like, like just this amazing building and facilities and planned buildings and like, and leadership who was really invested in it. Yeah. Not for nothing, in a very well-off community.
Yeah, totally.
Which means, because it's a community college, that it's very well funded.
Yeah.
Which is, private schools, even though they cost a lot of money, they're tuition driven.
Yeah. So
things can go pear-shaped really fast.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
And they do, So...
that is interesting. I'm going to interject on that.
Yeah.
Because you think, okay, so, if you're looking at it as like, oh yeah, West Valley in Saratoga, how snooty, but it's a community college. So the most people generally that would live in the Saratoga area, their goal isn't to go to a junior college.
No,
right?
But a lot of them do.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them do. But their goal isn't, and a lot of the like super locals don't. But our district is big.
Yeah.
And if you have a certain tax base, you actually are on what the state calls basic aid, which is just a different funding model, because you have a high tax base there. Yeah. So like we're funded completely differently than say like Peralta in Oakland where I live, you know? Yeah. So it's the structure is just really different. And it's so different that like our district can afford to actually provide free tuition if you're in the district, which is like we had to get a special state law passed to allow us to do that.
Chancellor.
Yeah,
Brad.
Chancellor Davis. Yeah.
Yeah, Davis,
yeah, he went to the state to do that. So
is it still free for up there for that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take some classes when I retire.
Yeah, it just I mean it just went into effect last year. So it's been in the works for a long time.
My kids, because they went to West Valley.
Did they?
They got that. Yeah.
So it's like it's free tuition if you're in the district. Obviously, it's really affordable if you're not, even if you're not in the district. Yeah. And we have like, I mean, I think there's probably some people who can contend this, but like, we have like, top 3 transfer rate in the state. So a lot of our kids go to, obviously the UC systems, state systems, like. I mean, across disciplines, but like in art and design, like our architect students are going to UC Berkeley, they're going to Cal Poly, you know what I mean? Like they're, the standards are high.
Yeah. So the diamond in the rough was was the biggest shock.
Yeah, honestly. And also just the faculty, I felt like, I thought it would take me longer to like win the faculty over. But I think as soon as I realized like, it's just a bunch of artists and creatives like I'm used to working with. And so like, I get you guys, and I think, like they did not come in with like any kind of attitude or anything, but like, I think very quickly they realized that like, I got them, they understood me.
Yeah. It's not like you're like some pretentious academia
or just like a bureaucrat or something. Totally. Yeah. Like they, we came to like and respect, and collaborate with each other like very quickly. Yeah. And that was, I mean, that's fun. That's the fun bit,
Well, and the faculty there, their care for the students, right?
100%.
Is incredible.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and they're some of the greatest educators I've ever met, like for real. And I've been at Parsons, I've been at Pratt, and like, they're some of the most dedicated and most talented educators I've ever met. Like, 30 years.
In 5 years there, what are you most proud of at this particular moment?
I think I'm definitely most proud of the culture that I've created. I think creating cultures of art and design at an institution is really important for it to be successful. People have to like and respect it. They have to understand its role, not just in the institution, but in the society, So like, not to make like an unnecessary plug, but like the partnership that we've done with you guys since day one, like has been really helpful for that, right? Like to bring the content community into what we're doing as like appreciators of art and design and culture, like was really important to me. And And I think that I'm proud of like setting the expectations really high, and working within like what's a really complicated bureaucracy
Sure, yeah.
to make some really profound changes, some of which like aren't always seen on the outside, right?
Yeah.
Like the approach to curriculum and degree structuring and stuff post-COVID is very different than it needed to be pre-COVID. So when I came in, it was right at the tail end of COVID, and there was a lot of work to be done in terms of like degree structure and course offerings and stuff in order to sustain the school the way it needed to be sustained, and also make sure the students are getting what they're needed. So it's a very intricate kind of balance.
Kind of figuring out a way to make things hybrid and those kind of things. Is that what you're talking about? Or what?
No, I know it's like, it's weird, but it's like, you know, we're a bureaucracy in a state institution, so there are metrics to be met.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
there's how many faculty per students, and you know all of this stuff. And so the metrics post-COVID completely changed.
Yeah.
But the degree structure and the like amount of classes we offered and how the degrees were structured were a pre-COVID world.
Okay.
You know, and so I did a lot of work with the faculty on curriculum restructuring so that the students were getting through faster, right? Finishing on time.
Yeah. Making sure every class is taken.
It counts.
Yeah.
We can't run low enrolled classes, so like making sure their classes aren't getting canceled. So those are, you know, it's all structural, right? So it's nerdy and it's kind of seems boring, but it's like, that's part of what you do, right? You need to make sure those students get through, have the classes they need, the quality of the classes they need, and then also that the degrees have value.
Yeah.
Right? That at the end of the day, they're either transferring or they're getting a job, and that their degree has a value for each of those things.
Yeah.
And I think pre-COVID, those, you know, I know it seems like
it was just more historic.
Well, it was.
Right? I mean,
it was
the
more.
things just kind of keep on going.
Yeah, and it was more like the idea that community college is just like something for everybody to take if you want, you know, like something for everybody, lots of offerings, different. But like it just didn't work in the post-COVID model. We're still for everybody. Anybody can come and take a class, but the other thing that happened post-COVID is that students do not want to waste time in school doing something that's not useful.
Yeah.
They don't want to waste money in school doing something that's not useful.
Yeah.
So not only do they expect us to run a tighter ship, but they're not going straight away to university anymore. You know, like everybody's freaking out in higher ed, but community colleges are good.
Yeah.
People are like, I'm going to go to community college where it's affordable and I can explore in the way that you used to do in your first year at undergrad. You know, like that's what I did my first year in Berkeley. I was just like, hey, what do I want to do? You know, but it wasn't expensive and it wasn't like this big risk to do that. But like, it's a big risk now. You know, and so kids are coming. Kids that might have used to even just gone to San Jose State, like come to us first to just kind of like explore and check it out. And also like if you can go for 2 years for free at a community college and then transfer to a UC or a state
in half.
Oof.
Yeah.
Why would you not do that? And so in art and design, especially where most of them do have to transfer, right? So, and a lot of the places that they are going to transfer are those expensive private institutions. If I can cut their debt in half and know that I'm sending them
with quality
in at the same caliber, that they are not going to be less than those students, you know, who are at their 2-year mark. You know, now we're doing something. So I am proud of that. I am proud of that.
That's cool. Okay, so then tell me what's going on new and the expo that you started the expo back when you first came.
Yes.
You mixed it with the STEM and design, the science kind of with
science and
math.
math.
And
so
tell me what's going on this coming
year. So we started the expo the first year I was there, and that was just like based off the model of four-year institutions as far as I was concerned. Like
Portfolio
graduating students,
review
they have to show their work.
Totally.
They have to curate their work.
Yeah.
They have to, we're an external, art and design is external facing. Like you don't just graduate and write your paper and leave. So to me, it was an exercise for that, but it's also a way to engage with the community, right?
Yeah.
Like show the community what we're doing. That's how you get the support. You can bring industry in. That's how they start seeing like, oh, you've got, graduates of talent and value.
Yeah, totally. And that's kind of like works both ways, because then the industry is seeing, oh, there's quality students here. I might get my interns there, and then that's great for the university or for the institution, because then you say, oh, we are reputable, and then it brings more people.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, totally.
And so we've been building on that. This is the 5th year, right? So it's a big deal for us. Like I'm excited about that. It's well, you know what I also realized? It's the, because we were like digging up some paperwork on some stuff, and Chris Cryer, one of our art faculty, found the paperwork of the founding of the Cilker School, because the Cilker School, West Valley did not used to have a dean or a school structure. It just had like program leads. Then it was actually the faculty in art and design that wanted to be accredited by the National Association of Schools of Art and Design, which is rare for a community college. But in order to do that, you had to have a school. So they petitioned the chancellor, like, we want a school, we're gonna need a dean, blah, blah. So they basically,
this is like when in history?
10 years ago.
10
so
years
we're
ago.
actually at our 10th anniversary of the school, as well as the 5th anniversary of the expo, which I didn't realize till like these papers started showing up, right? So it's kind of a lot to show in 10 years. And it was really all about the art and design school. Like they petitioned for it. So they're the whole impetus why West Valley even has deans and school and structure like that. Cool. So at 5 years, I mean, I'm super proud of the quality of education that we're providing. I feel like I've done most of the curricular work that I want to do.
How much is your job actually sitting, at a desk?
Like most of the time.
Looking at study booklets or whatever, like building the curriculum. Are you reading?
To be honest, deans, at least at West Valley, like deans don't teach at West Valley, which is a lot of institutions, deans can teach and stuff like that. But I guess it's just the community college system, like deans can't teach. So in theory, to be honest, like I'm actually not supposed to be that involved in curriculum. It's really faculty work. But exactly. But the faculty trusted me enough. Sometimes it took a few years, but like for me to just say like, listen, this is my vision. This is what I'm seeing. Like, can we work on restructuring this way?
So then you're sitting down with a faculty of some area. And you're saying like, hey, I see, like you're talking about the curation, like the curatory, and saying like, hey, I see this is kind of missing. I've been out in the world and been in other and I see like this is an important part of the whole thing. Develop some curriculum that fits with that. So that's kind of what you're doing.
And so the 2 new degrees that we have, basically, we're doing a certificate in digital art illustration, which is new. Cool. It was the only kind of focus in the visual arts that we didn't have, and our digital art and illustration faculty are amazing. So I just thought like that's really important. And then we are launching an industrial design degree next year, because we have this beautiful maker space that I was able to build out there, and that when I got there, industrial design was the one major discipline and degree that we didn't have that I was like, okay, like that is number one on my priority list.
Especially here in Silicon Valley with
100%. Like it's totally connected and integrated with UX. It's, and also not just that, but in an art and design school, it's sort of like the common denominator discipline. Every discipline, architecture, interiors, fashion, communications, like they all have some kind of relationship and connection to industrial design.
Totally.
And so when you build out a makerspace and you curriculum integrate it, then all of the design and the art disciplines benefit from it.
Yeah.
You know, and it just strengthens the work of everybody and
it
strengthens
makes sense
your
too.
ability
I mean,
to
with
prototype.
you have like Stanford, you know, D school and all that kind of
100%.
stuff. And then San Jose State has a great industrial design program.
Yeah, and the adjunct who helped me write the curriculum is actually from San Jose State. Did his industrial design degree at San Jose, and so we've been making sure that it is transferable there and stuff like that. And then the curatorial studies degree, I think, is kind of like, you know, it's not necessary, but I think it's very unique. And we have this beautiful gallery too in the new visual art building,
incredible,
right? That Mitra Fabian has done an amazing job at like bringing in Montalvo artists and local artists and San Jose artists, and like, you know, we show our student work, faculty work, but now she's bringing in, you know, local artists, and it's like, it's just turned into this like amazing, you know, calendar that she builds out every year. And she's a wonderful curator. I mean, she's a great artist herself,
too.
And she's a wonderful
teacher,
curator. She's an amazing teacher. So, and because curation's my background, so this is a little bit nerdy, but like, so art history lives in the visual art department at West Valley, which is a little unusual, rather than like humanities, right? So a lot of places it lives in humanities.
Sure, because there's a lot of reading.
There's a lot of reading and a lot of slides and stuff. But art history at West Valley lives in visual art.
Makes sense.
Right? And the way our visual art department is structured is that there's a transfer degree, an ADT, and then if you want to build your portfolio in a specific discipline, you get a portfolio certificate on the top. So like portfolio certificate in photography or sculpture or whatever. And the only discipline or the only degree that we did not have a kind of like top off certificate for was art history. So I'm like, if art history is going to live in visual art, then we need to situate it in a theory of practice, right? So then I was like, okay, well, what's the theory? I mean, obviously the theory of practice is curation, right? And so with the new gallery and everything, it just kind of seemed like a no-brainer. So now we have a top-off certificate that's like the other ones, a portfolio generating certificate, right? Because you're going to come out with like pictures and everything of your exhibitions, hopefully. And then it's a little
Will the gallery there on the campus then be available for the students in the curatorium to like put together exhibitions?
Yeah,
and stuff
exactly.
like that?
So we're going to have an exhibition practicum that the students do in there that Mitra will lead. I'm super excited. I'm super excited about it.
That's cool. And so then you're also going to be speaking at the San Jose Museum Museum of Quilts and Textiles on April 12th. And then this is going to be kind of like, because they focus more on textiles, so are you going to be focusing kind of more on the fashion
I'll probably focus
realm?
a little bit more on fashion, but also...
You'll throw in some Dean things here
I mean, I think I'm going to talk about, some of the stuff we talked about here, but like I'm just about this idea of like democratizing art and design education and sort of what that means, which like in fashion it translates to democratizing, diversifying the industry. Feeding people in industry who are thinking about the right things like sustainability and stuff like that.
Fast fashion and all that kind of craziness.
It's a big mess.
Well,
it's hard to love fashion and then also be in all that stuff.
That's how I feel too, right? Because it's such a consumer kind of thing and such an image thing and in the trend, so that the change of it and all that kind of stuff is not necessarily the best, not only for individuals' egos and life and pocketbooks, but then the planet too. But I think fashion is an incredible art form, right?
100%, 100%.
Stitching and textiles is incredible. Okay, so what can we expect coming up this next expo in May
15th?
It's over a couple days, right?
Yeah,
because
it's over.
STEM is going to be.
STEM is going to be on Saturday this time. So when we invited science and math to come in and kind of made it the STEAMed Fest, we were doing it all together on the same day, just because they were kind of new to it and everything like that. But because this year's the 5th year, and STEM has done their own thing for a couple years and done really great, so they're going to do their thing on Saturday. We're going to do our main event on Friday.
The 15th.
Friday the 15th. So basically this year, let's see, what do we got lined up? Thursday night, we have the opening of the Digital Music Center.
Oh, sweet.
Which is, so all of the new buildings at West Valley have been state funded by bonds, and this was our new learning resource center, which includes our library and a bunch of other facilities.
That's the one that's up behind.
It's up behind the visual art
that they've been working on.
Yeah, and it's so it's opening. The official opening's this month.
Oh, awesome.
But it's been up and running like since the beginning of the semester.
Okay.
But like it's the official opening is this month. But before that building got renovated, our music production and film production studios were in a wing of it, and so when it got renovated, our things got renovated too. So we have like, literally brand new, crazy state-of-the-art music production recording studio,
awesome,
which is bonkers.
Yeah.
An amazing film studio, green screen, all that stuff. So it's a very cool space. So we want to do a separate opening just for that space.
Yeah, that's
We have a
incredible.
student film festival that happens
that's
that
right.
night. And so that's going to be kind of like that Thursday night. And then Friday night or Friday during the day, we're having a lot of workshops. We're having applied music. We're having a poetry slam. We're having the content pickup party, obviously, fashion show at 8 o'clock, a lot of music. We're doing some demos of this new Steinway piano that we have, which is crazy because, so we're also really unique in that we're an all Steinway community college, which is like, kind of like this,
I've heard the name before.
yeah, all Steinway. But we only have Steinways, and Steinway works very close with you when you have that, or when you have that relationship with them. And so we actually, because we're going to have a new performing arts center opening in a couple years, we went into this agreement with them, bought a bunch of new pianos. One of which is this thing called Spirio, which I don't know the technology enough to really explain to it, because when you talk about it, it seems like, it's just like a glorified player piano, but it's really not. It's just this, it's like,
So it
looks
has-
just
it
like a
has
piano, but it has
technology?
insane technology in it.
Okay.
To the point
So
where
you could play and it would record
you can play and it would record. You could play duets with yourself. You could play and it plays
so
it
it
back to you,
loops
so you
and
can
everything?
learn.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You could.
But it's still
It's a totally functioning
but it's
piano.
still like a analog
100%.
hammer on
Yes.
the string stuff.
Yes.
But it's going in that's an F sharp.
Yes.
And that's it.
And not just that, but you can stream either live performances or performances that they have recorded, and the piano will play it, and not just it's playing the song, the exact fingering. You want Lady Gaga's a Steinway person. You want Lady Gaga's fingering for her song, it's precise. So it's a trip.
So do you see,
So we're going to do a demo of the Spirio, because it's
So you're saying I could put my Spotify hook it up to the piano and it would play?
I don't know
that?
about
How's
Spotify, but they have a huge library.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
Yeah, so it's whatever they have, but they
Yeah.
do have a massive library. And a lot of them are performance-based, though. So people who are Steinway artists have their...
It has a holograph of Mozart that could sit up.
No, but that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be good. That's
But
the next phase.
that's the next thing. But so we're doing a demo of that. We're doing, obviously, our fashion show at 8 o'clock. It's the biggest class of fashion
Oh, really?
students that we've had since I got there. So that's
Oh, okay,
also
awesome.
another thing.
Yeah, cool.
So because fashion's my area, obviously I put a lot of effort into that program.
Yeah.
Because
it's always been a great program too. One of the only.
Yes.
Yeah.
But from the outside, it was very good technically, but it was not that great creatively.
Oh, okay.
So one thing I've been working on the last 5 years, and it is honestly probably the thing I'm most proud of, just because it's my discipline, is that I worked very hard to bring it up to the level of creativity that honestly, they were getting out of the interior design students. They were getting out of the architecture students. So I was just why aren't we getting it out of the fashion students too? So, and a lot of it had to do with just the culture there, right? They didn't have a huge culture of critique in the fashion department.
Yeah.
They didn't have a lot of basis in the studying of history, really understanding that, and also like the collaboration with other departments. I think bringing the maker spaces really helped the fashion kids. And also just, honestly, like setting the bar higher. So like, and sometimes these are like small curriculum changes that can make a difference, right? Like when I got there for their final collection, they had to make like 7 or 8 looks or something, right?
Yeah.
But when you only have students for 2 years, that's a crazy ask.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get creativity. You might get high quality making, but you're not going to get creative pattern making or things like. They've got to make it.
Make the assignment,
Yes.
Yeah.
So I switched it to just 3 looks, right? It's a capsule collection. It's a very acceptable portfolio in the industry, especially after 2 years. It's not that big of a deal. If you can make a well-made, creative, cohesive collection of 3, right? And now they have the time to make those really well.
Yeah.
So, and
so they can give their expression as well as the craft. So rather than doing broad or quantity, do quality.
It's just quality over quantity.
Awesome. Cool.
And also like raising the expectations. And the thing is, like, we've also, over these last 5 years, we have, been able to get more, to be honest, like national attention. Like we were invited to participate in the Global Fashion Graduate Showcase, which was in Mexico City.
Awesome.
And then next year's going to be in South Africa.
Yeah.
We have 2 students who won the Fashion Scholarship Fund this year, which is a New York-based scholarship fund. Like all those kids at those schools win it.
Yeah.
And they started a community college, like kind of section of it. So those kids are getting like $5,000 and a summer in New York interning and all this career advice for a year and stuff. And so it's just really elevated the expectations, which starts bringing in real fashion students, like kids who are, like
totally very interested in.
Like it's their thing. It has been their thing, and they're looking for ways to express itself. Like when I got there, those kids in the fashion program weren't necessarily the kind of fashion kids that I was used to, you know? And like this year, like those kids are in it. They're in it. And I'm super excited and like proud of them. And it's going to be a massive show, which is like crazy. It's like 60 looks. It's like 60 looks.
The show is always incredible. Like even the last one was some of the quality of the work was really cool.
Yeah,
it was really awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So that's May
15th.
May 15th for that, and then the science on the 16th, and you're speaking at San Jose Museum of Quilts and Textile on the 12th.
Yes.
Last thing.
Yes.
Have you been reading anything kind of like for your own kind of like soul, or have you just been working your butt off?
What did I have just been working my butt off, but you know what I just finished reading Neurotribes.
Neurotribes, okay.
It's a historiography of autism.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Neurotribes.
And it's, my daughter's autistic, and so like over the years I've read lots of books, and most of them are about like, like what to expect or what your kid might be going through, or this or that and this or that, which is like helpful, but also like every kid's really different.
Yeah.
But Neurotribes is like this huge, really amazing like historiography of autism, and it's just like since like the 19th century, like what has been the thinking, what has been the research, what's the studying, all the different things that it's gone through. Its role of like Asperger's and like Nazi culture, and like it's just so interesting and so well written, and it made me honestly, it made me understand even though it wasn't about like how to understand your autistic kid, it helped me understand her more than anything that I had read. And it wasn't like really, I don't think it was meant to really do that. I mean, I'm sure in a way it was, but so I don't know. That's what I'm reading.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Well, good. Awesome. Well, thank you. I just am, grateful that you are in our community. Like the skills that you have brought to the West Valley, which I've always been a fan of West Valley. Yeah. Because their department's always been great. Yeah. But then just the level that you're taking it. So thanks for partnering with us on different stuff.
Yeah, I've been so grateful for you guys. I mean, you guys were the first thing that I wanted to connect with, because I was like, I know what I can do here, but if I can't get anybody here, then it's like, what are we doing? You know, so your community.
And then you stole Kristen from content.
I know. I'm sorry. Never live that one down. But look who you got.
I know. It all works out. It all works out.
But like your people have just appreciated what we've done so much. They come out every year, and it's just been amazing.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks for your time today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
Thank you.
We'll see you in May for sure.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Content Magazine podcast. Follow us on social media at Content Mag. Become a member and help us to continue to tell the stories of the South Bay creatives. This episode's music is 408 by Jack Pavlina. Follow him on Spotify and also on his Instagram at Jack Pavlina Music.